In Karnataka, what we have are two divided houses having a go at each other. The ruling BJP, clearly faction-ridden, B.S. Yedurappa and his coterie not happy in the manner in which they've been sidelined. The Congress split amongst Shivakumar, Siddaramaiah and Parmeshwara, all hoping to be the next chief minister. Where does the battle of Karnataka stand as we build into the new year? Because remember, the first part of 2023 is going to be about the big battle for Karnataka. Joining me on this broadcast to talk about who might win Karnataka basis the way things stand at this moment, what can change between now and polling day. We've got Sandeep Shastri, leading political analyst, political scientist, vice chancellor at the Jagran Lake City University. We've got Veera Raghav, author, columnist, professor, also somebody who's been a journalist and analyst for very long. So welcome, Veera Raghav. We've got Yashwant Deshmukh, one of India's leading cephologists, joining us on this broadcast, the head of C-Voter. Also on this broadcast for political perspective, Dr. Captain Ganesh Karnik, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, squaring off against him, Lavanya Balal from the Congress. I want to go across to Yashwant Deshmukh first, because Yashwant and C-Voter run a tracker which gives you a mota sense, a broad sense of which way the political winds are blowing. So why don't you kickstart this debate, Yashwant, by giving our viewers a sense of where you think, from the data that you're picking up from Karnataka, the battle for Karnataka stands just about a few days before the end of this year.
Well, the starting block, Rahul, it seems like that anti-incumbency has set in. Definitely BJP has a tough job at its hands. How much and till what extent the opposition parties are going to make benefit or make use of it, that remains to be seen. However, having said that, the problem of the opposition is not just the different fractions that oppositions are hiding for. JDS is still in a limbo. They need to kickstart their campaign. They are at this point of time actually way below their own normal self.
No, so why is that?
So.
Why is it that the Janata Dal Secular at this moment? Because remember, especially in the old Mysuru belt, the Janata Dal Secular has been quite strong. In 2014, it had about 11% of the overall vote share, 20% of the overall vote share in 2004. So it's a party that's been pretty strong. In 2018, it had about 18.3% of the total votes cast in the assembly, 37 seats. Where is the JDS right now? And if the JDS is crashing, which is an important factor in this election, where is that vote going, Yashwant?
Well, we have to see if it is a run-up to the poll, they are completely crashed out, or they somehow manage to make a comeback with their solid Vokalika vote base. I guess, Rahul, that they haven't been able to come out of the thrashing that they received in 2019 Lok Sabha elections, and their base has gone down. But remember, it is a very old regional party. It is not a pan-Karnataka party, if I may say so. It is largely concentrated in the Vokalika belt of the southern Mysuru Karnataka region, and that is where they would like to make a comeback. However, they may or may not ally with either of the two major parties. That would be a different thing and different angle to consider for sure. As far as Congress is considered, Rahul, I believe that their problem is even bigger than the BJP. And when I say so, it's largely because of the fact that, Congress has given the entire charge to DK Shivakumar, but and he is a very fierce fighter on the ground, no doubt about that. But in the public perception, it is Siddaramaiah who is way more popular even in comparison to DK Shivakumar. So I think Congress has a problem of picking up a person who knows who is good in probably a Chanakya Niti, but who doesn't carry a kind of a mass base the way Siddaramaiah carries. So Siddaramaiah is their popular phase, but if the Congress doesn't really go all out with their leadership projection of Siddaramaiah, then also they have a problem.
Okay.
So it's not
Dr.
that
Sandeep Shastri,
only BJP has a problem.
so it's a problem on both sides. It's a problem on all three sides. In what in some parts of the state is a triangular fight, in other parts a bipolar fight. You're in Bengaluru. You give us your best sense of which way the political winds are blowing at this moment.
I would take off from where Yashwant ji said, yes, there are visible signs of anti-incumbency. And let's remember, for the last 37 years, Karnataka has had a revolving door policy. A ruling party has never come back with a majority, and BJP has to make that extra effort to be able to stem that. And as Yashwant says, if there is an anti-incumbency sentiment now, that is a huge challenge they will face. My own reading of the situation, Janata Dal seems to be at a distant third and not even a near third, and the competition is essentially between the BJP and the Congress. The Congress on the ground, yes, there is Shivakumar and there is Siddaramaiah, and now you have the fact of the Congress president also hailing from Karnataka. And I think where it will make a difference is when the ticket distribution actually happens. That's where the scramble will start, because at least Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar would want their supporters to be in larger numbers. And as party president, how does Mr. Kharge play his role? That, I think, is going to be a critical factor for the Congress, and the unity of the Congress will depend on how those issues are managed. Rahul, my final point, I think the BJP also faces the challenge at the state level of the disunity in the party. It's not like the BJP unit of other states. And it is a big question as to how much the central leadership can help stave anti-incumbency. Is anti-incumbency going to be so visible that however much may be the support for the central leadership, does it still come in the way of this of the support? Let me try and get Veera Raghav to answer some of these questions. I think these are the factors I will look out for.
Amongst the Congress contenders, who do you think is most suited to lead the Congress campaign or be potential chief minister if the party were to win? Or are they just better off going with all three, keeping it ambivalent and fluid, and then deciding once they win, if at all they do?
Well, keeping it fluid is the way the Congress operates, so I don't expect them to make any clear announcement. But what the Congress needs to avoid is an open battle. Now, you've got Zamir Ahmed declaring that Siddaramaiah is the candidate for chief minister. You've got DK Shivakumar going out and saying only one man, one seat. There are internal frictions, and the animosity between the two leaders is, if you understand their personalities, is quite intense. So there is anti-incumbency. The Congress is making efforts, like for instance the Panchamasali agitation that is going on. The Congress is trying to make efforts to try and raid into the bastion of the BJP, which is the Lingayat vote base, basically wanting to test whether that vote base will remain so firmly with the BJP in the absence, or at least in the non-projection of Yediyurappa as the star campaigner, as the leader. I mean, will the Lingayats remain? I think the BJP is more cohesive, a unit. At least there is a semblance of order. It's clear there is no, while there is bickering inside, and that will be there in any political party, I think from the optics of it, they seem to be a little more cohesive. But the question is that in the absence of projection of Yediyurappa as the star guy, can the Congress raid into the Lingayat vote bank, A? B, if you have to have some kind of unison between Siddaramaiah, and I agree with Professor Sandeep Shastri, that it all boils down to ticket distribution. The animosity, as I'm saying, Rahul, again, is intense between the two leaders. Their personalities is one of, they're not people who, either of them, they're a little arrogant in their approach to politics and their approach to public image.
No, so then the question is, if you've got a BJP where the government is facing a certain sense of anti-incumbency, you've got Yediyurappa who seems to be sulking. In the meeting that was called very recently, the Vijay Sankalp Yatra, there was a lot of heavy lifting required, Captain Karnik, before Yediyurappa even consented to come. You had to actually have Yediyurappa's son Vijendra come down to Delhi, meet the BJP top brass over here, and then Yediyurappa consented to go to Khopal. You don't seem to be a united house, and you're dealing with anti-incumbency in the build up to the election. Doesn't sound like a good starting point.
Rahul, thank you for inviting me on this panel discussion, and my greetings and best wishes to all the co-panelists. Actually, I must thank you because there are a lot of takeaways from the previous panelist who spoke about the current political situation. As a a student of politics and as a spokesperson of the party, I have a lot of input for that. So thank you very much for that. See, I agree from a neutral point of view from all those observations made in the discussion initially. But you know, we have started our organizational activities for the past 1 year. We have enthused the complete cadre and it's still going on. And like it was mentioned earlier, there can be small differences in the party. And we have a high command which is capable of taking care of these minor issues. I personally feel with the achievements of the party, in spite of not getting, a simple majority in the previous election, and looking at what happened in 2008, 2013 and 2018, our vote bank has remained intact. Plus, two of the MP elections, our vote banks we have understood. And we have seriously tried to make inroads into those areas where, as you all suggested in the panel discussion, we have some shortcomings. So party will work on the strength of the cadre, our organizational structure, and preparedness already which we
But
have
all those seem like good words,
Yes.
but they are faced with the reality of multiple charges of complacency, incompetence against the Karnataka government, a house divided, a chief minister who doesn't seem to be fully in control, and those are some of the problems that your government has to deal with.
I don't deny what you're trying to say. Any political party in power will have to face these aspects of anti-incumbency. So I'll agree with you from that perspective. But party and the central leadership is capable of managing this. We have taken up issues which is close to the heart of the people, which is close to the heart of the cadre in fact. So I don't think it will play a major role. I don't want to comment on other political parties, their preparedness and their shortcomings. But we will work on our strength. We will work on the achievements of the central government. We will work on a principle of cohesive collective leadership. And more than anything, you mentioned about our tallest leader, Mr. Yediyurappa. He is full hog and he is involved in the entire campaign process. In fact, at his age, the way he is touring around, he is meeting people, he is enthusing the crowd. I think Mr. Bommai as Chief Minister and Mr. Yediyurappa as our tallest leader will be able to reach out
Lavanya
to the people.
Balal, if the Congress were a united house, you potentially could have an opportunity to take on a government facing anti-incumbency. But it seems that these Congress contenders could potentially be out to create trouble for each other. In the battle between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, Parmeshwara once again seems to have thrown his hat into the ring. He said recently at the Chitradurg, about the Chitradurg convention that only when a Dalit can become Chief Minister in Karnataka, only when the Congress comes to power. He's a Dalit himself, so clearly he seems to say that he also is in this race. Now you've got a three-legged race rather than having one man in charge, and they could trip each other over.
Good evening, Rahul. Congress is a united house. We have multiple CM contenders. We will have many more CM contenders as the election date comes close by. And Dr. Parmeshwara was the deputy CM last time when there was a coalition government as well. He was a CM contender in 2013 as well. So it is nothing new with Dr. Parmeshwara throwing his hat in for the CM's post. We will have multiple senior leaders who will be eager to become the CM, which is, I think, a norm in Congress party, and we do not announce a CM face till after elections. What is most important to note in Karnataka is the BJP's former CM, very tall leader, a mass leader of the BJP, Mr. Yediyurappa, is miffed with the party. The cadre is very miffed with the BJP party. The cadre is supposed to be BJP's strength, but if you notice in the last 6 months, they have geroured the Home Minister, they have geroured their own party president in coastal Karnataka. So there is a lot of trust deficit between the BJP cadre and the BJP leaders, and then of course there is anti-incumbency. But I would like to reiterate, I'm sure in the coming days, Congress will have many more CM contenders, Rahul.
So who's best suited?
Congress
Let's
is
put that
united
question to Yashwant Deshmukh. Of the contenders in the fray, who according to your data seems best suited? I met a very senior Karnataka leader from the Congress who said that, Shiv Kumar may have the wiliness, but Siddaramaiah has the backing of the MLAs or a majority of the MLAs. Who do you think has the backing of the people of Karnataka? You're on mute, I think, Yashwant.
Sorry, Rahul. So between the two, definitely it's not just the MLA. Siddaramaiah's personal ratings are way better than DK Shivakumar personal rating as far as the public is concerned. Now, when I say public, there are definitely two parts of the public. One is the Congress supporter and the Congress opposers. Between the Congress supporters, DK Shivakumar's numbers are less than Siddaramaiah's numbers for sure. However, on the other side of the thing, you know, we have seen how sidelining an old guard like Dhumal in Himachal actually kind of backfired to the BJP. So I don't know, taking a cue from that, how much they would be pitching in for Yediyurappa's leadership within the Karnataka and how to placate him from being angry or upset about. That remains to be seen. However, one is very clear that as far as the support bases are concerned within the BJP, again, Rahul, the vote is largely for the Modi and less for the local leadership as in the other state. While in the case of Congress, it is more for the local leadership and hardly anything for the central leadership.
Shastri, is Yediyurappa likely to be a Prem Kumar Dhumal kind of character in the Karnataka elections? The BJP didn't give Prem Kumar Dhumal a ticket. He stayed at home, didn't get out of his house in Amirpur, and in that district the party lost, even though his son did campaign quite actively. Is that a risk the party runs? And how badly could a miffed Yediyurappa hurt the BJP?
Rahul, this is a critical challenge for the BJP. Even when Mr. Yediyurappa was slowly politically fatigued with all the challenges he faced as Chief Minister and finally decided to move out after 2 years, if you see subsequent to that, I think many things have not gone the way Mr. Yediyurappa wanted it to go. And the central leadership of the party has clearly taken full command of the party. And it will be, please remember, Yediyurappa has already said that my son will contest my Shikaripura seat. And it will be interesting to see how that pans out. So, how much is the type of concession the BJP is willing to make to Yediyurappa to get him out to campaign wholeheartedly, I think is the question. Given the way the BJP leadership has worked, they are not used to cowing down to leaders and making them feel that they are extremely, I mean, without them things cannot happen. So I think there will be quite a lot of give and take in the BJP, and up to a point there may be an attempt to placate Yediyurappa so that he comes out and is active in the campaign. But I think Mr. Yediyurappa would very much want to use this opportunity to get the political dividends that he is hoping for. And I think this tug of war at the two levels is going to be critical. And who is the one who gets, in a sense, weaker or fatigued faster? And I think it's likely to be Mr. Yediyurappa to be fatigued faster. And I think
in 2018 we saw the image of the Prime Minister was one of the key factors that the BJP got the vote share that they did. They got a little less of the vote share than the Congress, but enough to be able to get more seats. In this election, given that they have an incumbent government, how much of a difference can the image of the Prime Minister make in a state where the Congress does have a presence on the ground, where the BJP is in power and therefore dealing with anti-incumbency, but the BJP has that one Brahmastra in the form of Narendra Modi? Can he take them home?
Well, I don't think so. I think there may be an impact of the Prime Minister and his persona with a section of the Hindutva electorate and the North Karnataka electorate. But beyond that, it's going to boil down to the grassroots arithmetic of the state, which has always held sway, unless it's going to be broken this time. Quickly to answer your question on Siddaramaiah, you brought in the you brought in that question of Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar. I think if the Congress comes to power, and if the Congress comes to power, DK Shivakumar may end up something like a Sachin Pilot. I think Siddaramaiah is still the man who's got that stature above, but DK Shivakumar has been working at the grassroots really hard. What he brings is, if the Congress wants to raid completely into the Vokkaliga vote base and break the JDS, you need a DK Shivakumar projection there. So I think those caste equations also matter when you're trying to project who's going to be the face of the Congress, which is why I don't think they're going to project a very clear chief ministerial candidate as always.
Also, for somebody who knows both Shivakumar and Sachin Pilot, I can say Shivakumar is way more wily. Sachin's a far more straight character to deal with. Shivakumar's mind works in different ways, and you can't really treat him the way that you treated Sachin Pilot. Lavanya Balal, the fear that Shivakumar, after having done all the work, could end up having to cede space post the election for a Siddaramaiah, something that Shivakumar would be most worried about, and he'll do what he can to ensure he doesn't end up in that situation.
See, DK Shivakumarji is an aspirant for the CM post, and he's been very vocal about it. But having worked with DK Shivakumarji quite closely, I can tell you one thing, for him the party comes first. And I'm sure after elections, when we are forming the government, he will go with the party decision, no matter if it is Siddaramaiah who is going to be the CM, or Dr. Parmeshwara, or maybe any other leader, or maybe DK Shivakumarji. So there won't be a problem for the Congress party in terms of who's going to lead the party once the election is over.
But in a very tangential sort of way, could this potentially, Sandeep Shastri, end up helping the Congress? Because if no one knows, then all try their hardest to try and get all the votes in the MLAs that they can to prove that they have the stronger case. And therefore, like Mukesh Agnihotri and Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu in Himachal, one a Thakur, the other a Brahman, both went all out to do what they could, and later Sukhu won that race. Could that potentially just end up helping the Congress instead of hurting it?
I think, again, Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar both realize that if either of them have to become the chief minister, the party needs to do well in this poll. So I think till the election, you will see both of them, at least in the public domain, putting up a common face and working together. Rahul, if I could just add one point. In Karnataka, Modi factor has always worked in a Lok Sabha election 2014 onwards. It has been less potent when it came to an assembly election. If that factor had played as much a role it played in 2014 and 2019, if it had played the same role in 2018, the BJP would actually have been home.
No, but can I counter what you're saying by suggesting that the Modi factor doesn't need to be as big as it is in a Lok Sabha election? It just needs to be big enough to give them a bit of a bump. You don't need Modi to play the way he does in a Lok Sabha election. If he plays better than everybody else, gives you a certain bump.
Have a sentiment of anti-incumbency.
Yes, yes. So the two opposite sentiments working at the same time. You're right.
When you have leadership fight, it becomes critical.
That is correct. And therefore, the biggest challenge, really, Sandeep Shastri, is to try and bring the BJP together. Veera Raghav, can they do that? At this moment, the BJP seems a divided house. In Gujarat, there were concerns, but Messrs. Modi and Shah were able to iron those out ahead of the elections. We saw what happened. Can the BJP get its house in order in the new year?
I think, Rahul, one needs to understand that the weight and the power of the center and the fact that the BJP is so powerful at the center would mean that there is very limited leeway for play for somebody like a Yediyurappa or any disgruntled element. They cannot go beyond a particular point in terms of breaking or sabotaging the party. But what is more worrying, and I think this is a very important fine factor that we need to remember here, Rahul. The battle in Karnataka, remember, still seems to be the battle for the single largest party and not for a clear majority. It still doesn't, I still don't get the sense that the BJP has transcended to a level like what they do in the Lok Sabha election to emerge as a single largest, a clear majority on their own in Karnataka state assembly elections. Now, given this situation, how much of an impact will it be if Yediyurappa, the absence of Yediyurappa as going to be the next chief minister, what impact would that have amongst the core votary of the BJP? And that is where I think the Congress is trying to raid a little bit into the North Karnataka Lingayat votary, to try and make inroads into it. I think that test will determine who is going to emerge as the single largest party in the state. Obviously, the Congress would like to get past the halfway mark, but that's going to depend on how unified their fight's going to be.
Okay, so here's My prediction. Gujarat was one-way traffic, right? And as journalists, as editors, as psephologists, as data crunchers, that's great for the party that wins, but that's not a very fascinating election to cover. Karnataka is where the Congress thinks they have a chance. The BJP has the might of the most formidable election machine of modern Indian politics, and they have a government which is in power, which is in some kind of trouble. So you will have an exciting contest. It's tough to say at this moment how the contest will end and what happens on counting day, but it will be, make absolutely no mistake, a big political battle, and we will track this like absolutely nobody else. We'll have Sandeep Shastri, Veer Raghav, Yashwant will keep joining us and try and give you deep, sharp insights into the big battle for Karnataka. Captain Karnik, Lavanya Balal, all the best to my pundits. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you often, many times in the new year.